Hello everyone, I'm Ojal Singer and thank you so much for joining me today on Read Me This because today I'm scared because I'm going to be reviewing Booktok books that disappointed me. These were books that were so hyped up on Booktube, Booktok and Bookstagram that I read them and now I have a burning passion to hate on them. If any of the books in this video are your favorites, please don't watch this video. Please do not leave any hate comments because these are just my opinions and I just want to share them with you guys. So without wasting much time on the intro, let's get into it. I have no idea how I'm going to keep this video under 20 minutes because I have a lot to say about these. Now, the first book that lured me into its trap was To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This book is supposed to be a retelling of the Little Mermaid fairy tale between a siren and a siren hunter. Siren Lyra, I think, and the siren hunter Alien. Do you understand how interesting the plot sounds like? Don't even get me started on the opening lines. It has one of the best first lines I have ever read in a book, so immediately I was so excited to read this. But Lyra was such a good character. She could have been such a badass character, but the author tried so hard to make her look like this evil, cold, heartless person that in the end I was just laughing at how she was trying to be cold and heartless because there was nothing in action and everything in the monologue of Lyra. The male love interest, Alien, the siren hunter, he has a personality of a seaweed. And considering Lyra is a siren, I'm sure she's seen seaweed with more interesting things to talk about than Alien. He's supposed to be this prince, the siren hunter who is in charge of a whole crew and he kills people. No. I could not stand him. The banter in this book is completely boring. It is trying too hard to push the enemies to lovers trope because they go from enemies to something happens in between that is so plain and then now they're lovers. And one of the biggest things that pissed me off about this, spoiler alert, it's called To Kill a Kingdom and no one dies in this. It's called To Kill a Kingdom. I was ready for battle. I was ready for people to drop dead. Not a single person dies. No one of any significance, of anything that could contribute to the plot, died in this book. You have no idea how mad that makes me. You have falsely advertised this book to me. I did not like this. I know a lot of people did. People who are really into fantasy, I'm sure you did. If you did, I'm so happy for you that you found a book that you could enjoy because this was not for me. This was probably my stepping stone into realizing that fantasy retellings are really not my thing. So yeah, if you want mediocre banter enemies to lovers, go ahead. Right, so the next book is We Were Liars by Lockhart. Controversial, but hear me out. I actually surprisingly really liked the writing style. I got through that book in a day. Like within hours, I was done with that book and I was so excited to read it. I love how poetically it was written and I loved how everything was dramatized from our protagonist, Cadence or Katie Sinclair's point of view. So We Were Liars is basically a book about this really rich Sinclair family and the problems they have, and Katie has actually undergone an accident, a traumatic accident last summer when she was 15 in the Sinclair Island at their mansion, and now she doesn't remember what exactly happened and she feels like her family and her cousins who were involved in the accident are trying to hide what actually happened, and she wants to find out where her memory is gone, what happened to her. So it's obviously really interesting, and when you write it poetically, which I didn't think was possible to write for like a little bit of a mystery novel that you write poetically. So it was actually very good, except it was so hyped up that okay, if someone asks you what the book is about, just lie. We were liars. I had finished the book when I realized, oh, It's over. I'm yet to be astounded. I'm going to be honest, I never saw that plot twist coming because I didn't think it would be that. I don't want to reveal too much because if you do want to read the book, there's two types of people. People who love it or people who hate it. I don't think there's an in-between of people. So you can go ahead with it. But I was waiting for the plot twist to blow my mind and it never happened. We Were Liars turned out to be a book about rich white girl problems that I did not relate to. Characters were pretty plain. The only thing keeping the book going was me trying to find out what happened to Katie, what happened that summer, and what happened was just, I'm disappointed. We Were Liars was just too pretentious, rich white girl for me, even as poetically as it was written. The book was over. I realized the book was over and I realized, wow, I haven't felt a single emotion reading this book. So that was the second time I was duped by Booktok because people loved this book. It was just a brief skimming through of pages for me that I will not remember. If you ask me the plot anymore, I genuinely do not remember. The characters were really bland, really boring. They was boring enough that I don't remember anyone's name and I had to Goodreads the summary yesterday to make this video. That's how forgettable this book was for me. Let's move on to the next book. Now this next book, again, I'm sure everyone knows about it. It was the talk of Booktok at one point. And so someone gifted it to me. And here we are. Verity by Collen Hoover. I always knew that I would not enjoy reading Collen Hoover's other books, ever. And I didn't want to become a mindless hater for no reason, so I just never picked up the books. And I was like, people who enjoy it. I just know I will not, so let's not get into it. But a friend of mine was like, no, this is a very different approach by Collen Hoover to, romance thriller. And I think you might really like it, so you should read it. And I was like, why not? The cover's pretty. The synopsis looks really interesting. Why not? And again, here we are. Now this book is about Lowen Ashley, who's like a struggling writer, and she gets employed by Jeremy Crawford, who is the husband of Verity Crawford. Verity is a renowned, world-famous thriller writer who was writing a series of books that come under the thriller category. And she unfortunately met with an accident and is now almost comatose. She can't move, she's paralyzed. So Jeremy Crawford employs Lowen Ashley to finish her unfinished series. Pretty good, because then Lowen finds a manuscript that reveals the dark secrets of Verity, which could change her and Jeremy's life. This is actually a very interesting premise, and I'm not going to lie, this book kept me hooked. Out of all the books in this video, this is probably the highest rated book in this, but that is still quite low on my ranking of other books, hence an appearance in this video. I'm going to be honest, it was funny at points because the only person doing the most was Verity. And Verity is paralyzed, mind you. Verity is comatose, she's on the bed, she's paralyzed, and she's the one doing the most work in this book. My problems with this book was, since Lowen Ashley is a writer, Collen Hoover has written her as a writer. This was a writer writing a writer, trying to be a good writer. And it just derailed from there. There were too many descriptions of things that were absolutely not needed. Like at times I'm like, I get it, you're a writer, you think in adjectives and words, tone it down a bit. And honestly, Lowen's character was also a little annoying because of certain things she does in this book. I don't want to reveal yet, but if you've read it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But the biggest problem I had with this book is, you remember when we were children and we had this story writing exercise and we thought we dropped a banger when we would end our stories with, and then I woke up and it was all a dream. But you know how we felt like such accomplished writers, literature students? That's what the ending of this book felt like to me. Collen Hoover thought she dropped a banger of an ending when she ended this the way that she did. I was like, oh, so you ran out. You ran out of ideas, you ran out of ending, and you just adultified, I woke up from a dream. That's what this was. So, people being shocked and absolutely gasping and catching their breath in their reading blogs when reading this book, I did not relate to that. I expected that. That is probably why I was disappointed. Probably I had too high expectations. This is not a bad read, but I think it was just recommended because it was something Collen Hoover did differently, not that it was actually a different book objectively. This is just something special from Collen Hoover, not something special by itself. So this book truly did disappoint me because of all the hype people gave it for writing a slightly better story than a 15-year-old would. Let's move on. This next book, oh my god, I don't remember a single thing about this, and you can't make me. I don't want to remember. It's God of Fury by Rina Kent, and I was told this was going to be an MLM, standalone, perfect dark romance. I DNF'd this book in 4 chapters. I could not go on reading because the amount of testosterone I saw in the first 4 chapters was explosive. Everything was so heavy and so manly and honestly creepy. I don't even want to tell you what. That I could not finish. I could not go on reading. I deleted that book off my laptop and I was like, I never want to look back. I want to have words with Rina Kent. I've not read any other books by her, but if this is what she does, I'm concerned. 4 chapters and I felt like I was reading the same chapter again and again because the monologues were the absolute same. I knew from the first 2 chapters that there is absolutely no plot. I know there's going to be so many consent issues, so many sexuality issues, misrepresentation throughout this book, and I was right. Because I did read some of the other reviews that people who had read the whole book had given, and I'm so glad that I actually put this book down. There's absolutely no plot. It is MLM misrepresented, so fetishized, and I can't stress on this enough, but so much testosterone, so much. It is on your face, and I was scared. Like, I genuinely felt like the characters are going to come out any second because they can't hold it in themselves and hit me and kill me. I don't know. It's sold as a dark romance, and there's a way to do dark romance, and this is not it. You don't make the characters honestly clinically insane or in need of actual help to call it dark romance. It's a whole different genre. That's a whole different genre, and this is not it. I will not recommend this book to anyone. It's just a waste of your time. You gain nothing from this. Like, even as a romance, you gain nothing from this. Let's move on. Now, this last book is actually one that I finished 3 or 4 days ago. So I'm going to have a lot to say about this, which is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This was sold to me as a Hades and Persephone modern retelling. See, I'm always intrigued by retellings, but I'm always disappointed by retellings because no one's doing them right anymore. It is supposed to be Hades and Persephone meet in New Greece or New Athens, I'm not sure. And basically how the lore is modernized. This is like a Wattpad novel. And I mean Wattpad in a derogatory sense. There's good Wattpad novels, okay? Fight me on that. This was just a plain, simple Wattpad novel which had absolutely no plot. And I'm saying this because the plot was already given to you. You know how Hades and Persephone get together. So if you're going to modernize it, there is absolutely no original element to this. The author did nothing new. In fact, I think she made the actual myth worse. And there are so many problems with this book. Starting off with one, the illogical dialogues. It seemed like this book was completely unedited. Now, I found out later that Scarlett St. Clair actually self-published this book. I thought you might want to take a little more time in seeing whether there's errors in spellings and dialogues or not. Because there were multiple. The dialogues sometimes follow no logical sense. Like, there's this one part where I was just so confused because I didn't know where that dialogue came from. I think they're talking and Persephone says, "You're being very arrogant." And Hades replies, "Is that a challenge?" She didn't challenge you. Nothing about what she said was a challenge. There's no logical flow of thought. You would be talking about something and the other one will just say, "Oh, but what if this happens?" And that has nothing to do with everything we've done in the whole chapter. And I want to believe that there was conflict in this book. The conflict was Persephone being, "I hate Hades. He's not worth it. He's the worst of the god," and then jumping him and then coming back and be like, "No, but I do hate Hades," but then jumping him again. That's the entire conflict of this book. There is no real conflict. And when, just for like a fraction of a second, there was conflict, there is no resolution to the conflict. We just move on with life. Because the best way to summarize the conflict resolution was, yeah, but well, like things happen for a reason, so it's fine. That's it. That's their conflict resolution. And most conflict resolutions, minor conflict resolutions, mind you, which is all in Persephone's head, is just get to the smut. 80% of this book is smut. Sometimes it's such aggressive smut, hence the term Wattpad. Like there were times I was like, that is not possible anatomically. So, Persephone's character was just, she had no original thoughts of her own at all. She doesn't listen to Hades for a single second in this book. She makes all judgments by herself, gets proven wrong, makes new judgments, kisses him again, makes new judgment. That's all there is to Persephone. There is not a single original thought in that woman's mind. The only good part about this book was when Hades calls her out on that. That is one paragraph, just this one paragraph of this book that I actually enjoyed, because Hades called her out for being someone who can't make her own decisions. There's only 4 lines in this book that I actually wanted to talk about. And Hades is no better. Hades, and this will go directly to the author actually. Hades did nothing wrong here. The author wanted to make him into this absolute stereotypical like bad boy. He's cold and heartless. But the thing is, he's not. Hades' character is contradicting himself 24/7. He's cold, he's heartless, he doesn't explain what he does because he has a, I don't know, cynical reputation to keep. But he's like the softest person in this book. He's just a bad boy for no reason. Because he doesn't even follow through with being a bad boy. So Hades was contradictory. Persephone was just a blank piece of paper. The other side characters were so stereotypical. The best friend is always there to, let's celebrate, and that's her personality. That's it. That's all she does in the whole book. Then there is the antagonist, other guy, whose entire aim is, oh, I like her, I want her despite everything, I have consent issues. And that's his personality. You could find this on your laptop for free if you just go on the Orange app. There's no need for you to go buy a book that just has a pretty cover. Wattpadders have advanced, guys. They also make pretty covers now. So I would suggest, please skip this. Don't buy this. Don't fall into the Hades Persephone trap. Don't do that to yourself. I'm sure there's better ones. I'm sure people can put so many better recommendations for Hades and Persephone in the comments. If you can, please do. I want to recover. Actually, I want to replace memories of this in my mind. Thank you. And with that, this is a wrap on all the books that make me rage. At the same time, these are books that you could have enjoyed, probably. If you did, I'm so sorry for making this video. I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, but mine were hurt deeply when I read these. If you also did not like these books, please do drop a comment. Please do. Let's have a yapping session together. And so, with that, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos. And I will see you next time. Take care, bye bye, all the best books to you, all the best reading to you. And I hope you have a great day. Bye!